Here's the beginning of my new raised bed.
So after rethinking the raised bed, I expanded it by another cinder block so that it's accessible on both sides. I'm going to be at least 2 block high this season. I'm going to go for at least 3 or 4 next season. So it's a nice high deep bed with lots of possibilities.
And then here is hugel culture, some branches that I collected down the street. Cut them up and prepare them for the base so that they provide nutrients.
Alright, so here we have the raised bed, 2 cinder block high, and most of the wood that's in there is what's going to be in there. I'm going to add this guy in. Once I chop at these guys with the nippers, break it all down so it's more compacted into the bottom so that the compost and topsoil will fit better. And I'm going to get some of it down into these holes, these nice deep holes. You can see, I'm not sure, well, yes, nice and deep. There's some stuff down in there. So that'll provide good root space for carrots and beets and spices. Alrighty, so here we have that portion of the beds completed. I chopped down with my circular saw and loppers these pieces of tree that we saw earlier and put as much into the holes as I could manage at this time. Little chunks at the bottom to do their part in each hole. So as we plant, the plants in there get nourished and retain water, moisture better. So that has a lot of other stuff, some compost and whatnot. I'm going to add eggshells and a few other things as I come along. I've got a couple of days until the compost and topsoil come. So in the meantime, I'll prepare for that. Thank you.
Here we have our new soil and manure. Preparing into the bed, filling it up.
Alright, so
there it is.
I've gotten this far. That's about 1/3 of the way. Filling with buckets and whatnot last night until I was tired. And so now we want to make sure we're getting our soil down in all the cracks and crevices, working in all the gaps. We don't want no gaps because then you'll have collapsing later on. So you just want to move things around and make sure that the soil is getting down under. There's lots of stuff, lots of gaps in the wood. So that's part of what's got to be done during this culture. And then next thing I'm going to do is add some supplements to the soil. Once I get a little farther along, a little higher up. Alright, so now I've gotten about halfway full, and what I did at this point is I added activated charcoal, Epsom salts, and boric acid, or not boric acid, sorry, boron in the form of borax, along with eggshells. I've been collecting eggshells, and I put a bunch of stuff in each hole. On the holes that are topped off, I'll just mush them around and get it all in there. And then I'm going to add more soil and manure and get it close to the top. I don't think I actually want to top it off at this point anyway, so that I can add mulch and be able to put things in there and move things around. Alright, so here we have my bed all planted out and watered down. It was an all-day project. So in this bed is a high density planting bed. I went crazy on the idea. This is fully experimental. I don't know if anybody else is doing what I just did here. What I did was I planted 16 tomatoes, 6 pepper plants, 2 eggplants, 7 zucchini, 1 spearmint, 6 collard greens, and then I put seeds in all the outer pots. There are 1 beet or 1 or 2 onions per pot, plus some radishes and maybe some other things. So here's the seeds. I have 2 kinds of beets, a golden and a red, about 50 each. There's onions, red and yellow, about 100 each. There's leeks, 50 to 70 leek seeds, carrot seeds, 100 to 200 carrot seeds. And then we have kale seeds, spinach seeds, parsley, basil, cilantro, and radish. So this bed is fully packed. I have the tomatoes and the zucchini intermixed. There's the 2 eggplants, tomatoes, and everything's mostly in a zigzag pattern. There's the 1 spearmint. There's zucchini, 1, 2, 3. I put 2 in a pot like that just to see what would happen. So then the next step I'm going to do is I'm going to stake out the tomatoes. I'm going to use 1x2s, 1x2x8s, so they're going to be really tall. The tomatoes are indeterminate for size. That means they will just continue to grow as long as I provide them with food and water, as anything else would. But I'm going to give them single stem and bring them up as tall as I can to get as much vine and fruit production off of them as possible. Wish me luck on this experimental garden. I may have to put some mulch along the side. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to start hard mulching with cardboard along the edges of the bed. My property here is fully engulfed with bindweed, which is an unpleasant, called it's a morning glory, but it's bindweed. The roots go down approximately 12 feet, and this property is fully covered with it. So I'm going to have to snuff it out and just keep picking away at what I don't want. You know, you have the option of weeds you want and weeds you don't want. So like I said, I'm just going to cover everything up and not give it the opportunity to grow. I'm going to be cutting things away. I'll take a shovel and uproot everything and then put the cardboard down. I'm probably in the future going to have to rebuild this bed. I saw a little bit of the bindweed coming up through a few of the cardboard cracks here, so it's probably going to be contaminated next year. We'll see.
And here we have the bed all staked out with some straw mulch on top, and I'm chipping away at the top of the soil to remove anything I don't want.
So now it's been 5 days since I planted my raised bed with all the seeds and the transplants. I put some straw down for mulch to keep the moisture going, and lo and behold, I've got some greenery. I believe these guys are radishes. There's a few little guys in here. You can see one right over there. He's coming up. So we have progress. Everybody's coming along. This one here's been very well buried, but he's still hanging in there. This pepper plant. He's got a friend coming up next to him. So yesterday morning I went around and I trimmed all the tomatoes, took out some lower branches in here and here, and just giving them a chance to get up and go. I'm going to go over them again in another 2 days, give them every 3 or 4 days for trimmings, that sort of thing. There's 2 little guys coming up there. I took my zucchinis and did the hard mulch. I laid out all kinds of cardboard and shingle type pattern underlapping, and then added some compost and manure, and transplanted the zucchini, 7 zucchinis, in the diagonal pattern as you see here, and in the every other diagonal spot I put seeds. So we'll see what happens. These zucchinis have been transplanted 3 times now, once from the pot into there. I decided that was not a good location. They're going to crowd out whatever I have going in there. They need their own bed, and there's still plenty of mulching material left. I planted this guy here. I threw some soil in the bottom, as you can see, and threw beet seeds and cantaloupe seeds. So hopefully this will get some good cantaloupes coming up and some good beets going down. There's at least 3 or 4 dozen beet seeds in there, and about 8 or 12 cantaloupe seeds. Also in this box, which I got my lawnmower in, I filled that partly with about 6 inches or 8 inches of soil, and planted again about another 12 or 15 cantaloupe seed spots, and have been watering that very well for the last 3 or 4 days, 3 or 5 days since I put this guy together. There's my straw bale, and there's my pile of manure and soil. Alright, so here we are, 2 weeks on into my raised beds. I've got a whole bunch of little guys just popping everywhere. All these little guys here and here. This is garlic. I poached a bunch of garlics in. Here's our eggplant getting nice and purple. Oh, some of our tomatoes are a little struggling, but they're coming along. But look how thick this is. These guys are so dense. The peppers are flourishing. Again, just 2 weeks, and these guys have been just popping. There's flowers on the tomatoes, as you can see right there, and on the peppers. Hopefully they're getting some pollination. I got some marigold seeds coming in some pots. The collards are growing splendidly, getting really big and beautiful. And then over here, where I planted the squash, the zucchinis, sorry. So I got my seeds coming up. These little guys started coming up yesterday morning, and right there we got 2 of them right next to each other. Pow, pow. And another one over there. 1, 2. 2 more coming up right next to one another. Beautiful. They'll start crowding each other a little bit. There's another one. So again, the experiment here is to see which ones grow to the fullest and strongest. I might have them a little tight, but we'll see. In this container, I've got cantaloupe, which I believe is this guy here, and beets. So we got stuff growing up, and we got stuff growing down. Let's see what happens with them. There's one right there who's a little sparse. I think I'm going to taste it, see how that goes. Wipe the dirt off, get it clean. Over here we got something trying, but these are little grasshoppers or crickets that are doing a number all around. Here we got some shishito peppers coming in. You can see that clearly there. A nice thick group. Alright, so we're halfway into week 4. It's Sunday. I did my initial planting on a Wednesday, and this garden is popping popping with all kinds of greenery. This is collard greens. I had about maybe 10 leaves off of these guys tonight that I added into my juice. Now I've been trimming the tomatoes to keep them growing the way I would like them to grow. And they are looking beautiful. Everybody's coming up nice. They got flowers on them. Look at those little guys. Beautiful. And there's another little tomato somewhere. Let me see if I can find him. Here he is. There it is, right there. Little tomato already. Week 3.5. It's amazing. You know that these things just pop and pop for wanting to produce. So nothing you can do to stop them. They just love to grow. Lots of little flowers on this one here, just coming in beautifully. If I can get a little bit of a focus. There we are. Yeah, there's radishes and spinach and kale and leeks and garlic. This stuff is going to be very good, delicious, and nutritious to sustain in the summer and beyond. There we have a little grasshopper friend hanging out on one of the leaves. He's just having a good old time. Here's our shishito pepper, growing strong, getting bigger. Some zucchinis, getting there. We got a zucchini with the flower on it. Here's our raised bed with the all that good growth. All right, so this is the 4th week after planting, 3rd week growing, and we have a pepper coming here. Couple of peppers. There's another pepper on one of the other peppers. I think this guy's got something somewhere, I saw. And a little tomato going on right down in there. There it is. And we got this wonderful collard greens and beets and radishes coming up. Everybody's growing real strong. So what I've been doing with the tomatoes here is I've been trimming out the bottom branches as it gets taller and stronger and allowing the top guys to come in, and it's coming up really well. All of them really well. We had a couple of guys that were struggling. This is an eggplant here that I took from this one over here. It was like a double. I did that with this. This was a double, and I put its little friend down in here, and it's making a comeback. That was about a week ago almost. Let's move that rock, and yeah, it's coming back. So now I've got 4 eggplants where I just bought. All I did was buy 2, and then the same thing for the tomatoes. These guys here and here were extras in the pot. I had some extra growth coming off one down the other end, and a sucker. I clipped that last night and I put it down in here, so it's got its own pot, and this guy's gonna pop and get big and tall all summer long. And you can do that with them. They'll come up and give you extras you can grow new plants off of. Here's my zucchini popping. There's already some fruits growing on those zucchinis with little flowers on the end. We'll see how that all goes. Got a good 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 plants going there. Cantaloupe in here didn't make it. There was a couple of critters chewing away. As you can see, these guys keep getting attacked. Everything I put in here, I don't know if there's just not enough. I think that's the issue. There's not enough. And in this pot I've got cantaloupes and beets. As you can see, the cantaloupes are popping right here very well, and the beets are coming up all over the place, so we'll see how that goes. I think it should be really well. Do really good. I've transplanted. Some of these guys have been crowding out each other, so I have separated them, and I'm going to continue to do that. Some of them are just way too close, and I have transplanted some into some other spots, like this guy here. As you can see, he's really weak, and a few spots down inside the garden bed. There's some transplants where there was space. I took some empty spaces and put the little guys in there, so hopefully I believe these guys will come back strong on their own and in their own space, and they'll get lots of room and produce lots of produce. Same thing here. There's some transplants here and here. Did them all over the place, so we'll see how they go. So here we have an example on this tomato plant where right here we have a little sucker growing off the edge, where I'm going to allow that to get just a little bit bigger, and then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to fill another bucket with some soil and compost, and then I'm going to put this little guy in there, and then it'll have its own pot. And that's another way to continue to have food growing all the time, continuously. Tomatoes are great for that. You can continuously grow new tomatoes off of old tomatoes or previously growing tomato plants, ones that you like. There's one of the little crickets, grasshopper, I'm not sure which. But they're here, they live. There's plenty to go around. There's a variety of them. Some are very small, some are green, some are brown. Hard to say. I think they're eating the straw. I'm allowing the straw to grow to a degree at this point. Give them something else to eat other than my vegetables. But if they're eating the vegetables, that's okay too, because that means it's safe for me to eat. So thanks for joining me. Please like and subscribe and check out my Patreon, and I'll have other videos coming in the future. Have a great day, many blessings, and food abundance to you.